happening? What's going on? What's up, everybody? K Mega 405 coming to you live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers. It's good to be back. As I said, and I'm on time. That's a good thing. That's a good start. That's a good start. That's a good start. But I did a video, just kind of a random video Sunday evening, kind of explaining where I've been. So if you didn't see the last video, please go check it out. I just kind of did some rambling explaining what all happened. Don't want to go through all that again. We're at the last phases though of the hard drive swap thing. I was sit there, just talk to the tech guy this morning, and we're pretty much at the end of it. So I don't know how much of my data, well, pretty much my music, I will get, but because the sectors is pretty bad. But I do have a backup plan just in case if I can't get it all. I do have another hard drive that I broke, but that will be a lot easier to fix because it's more of an old school hard drive and not like one of these portables like where I put this music on here. But regardless, we'll get that. But other than that, let's get to it. What's going on with your Ocular fan? What's happening with your people? Plan on getting into some things. There's some things that I didn't really address or put up here from when I was talking Sunday. So I'm going to address a couple of those things. First off, it was what the stuff that we were seeing. I think it came from Dustin. About and I mean there was some other stuff that I was kind of seeing this past week about with the Xbox integrating Steam, having maybe a Steam app or something like that, and maybe that Xbox gamers can be able to play PlayStation games. Is that possible? Things like that. I want to kind of touch onto that, and then also some other things as well. But what I want to talk about here first is first off, thanks if you're new to the channel. Welcome. If you like the content, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I'm going to be back doing my thing, my thoughts regularly. Fight night will finally be coming here because then I have to worry about the hard drive situation. It will be done here in a couple of days, if not tomorrow. We're finally going to be done with this situation, and I could get back on track on doing my content. So other than that, check out more of the channel. Check out some of my other stuff. Check out Fight Night. For my previous fight nights and stuff like that. And if you like it, go ahead and subscribe. I'm also on Twitch. I'm on TikTok as well. And probably streaming some stuff on Instagram here coming up here pretty soon. So yeah, I'm going to start trying to spread myself like margarine. Pause. All right. Anyway, so I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's pretty interesting stuff. And if you've been paying attention to the channel, you know that I've been a strong advocate for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I've been an Assassin's Creed fan since they changed to the open world aspect of that, because I'm just a maniac like that. I like to go through things like a fine-tooth comb, so I do really like the big open world stuff. And I didn't have a problem with the last Assassin's Creed with Basim, was more of kind of old traditional, didn't beat it. But it was cool. But I do like this whole the open world aspect of it. It's just you seem to get more bang for your dollar. But there was so much other controversy about the whole character of Yasuke and all that other stuff. There was some people that was trying to allude that the game wasn't doing well. It wasn't selling well enough for anything of that nature. But then there was a report that came out yesterday, and it said Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Shadows launched on March 20th and got off to a hot start in the US. The game was the best-selling title overall in the US during the launch week. And that's from the analyst Matt I can't pronounce his last name anyway, but we've seen a lot of if you've been paying attention to the gaming stuff, you've seen a lot of his stats. A lot of people go off of his stats. He's pretty legit with the stuff that he posts. But anyway, it says this counts sales through March 22nd. So Shadows achieved this only after 3 days. There was also added that 3 days of sales, Shadows is already one of the top 5 best-selling games in 2025 in the U.S. based on dollars. In terms of the comparison, it was pointed out that only Capcom's Monster Hunter Wilds had a better first week in terms of dollar sales in 2025 so far. So in Wilds is the number one best-selling game in 2025 so far in the U.S. Matter of fact, I think I just seen something today where it said Wilds hit 10 million subscribers. So that's a real good look. And usually, I mean, it is Assassin's Creeds are usually their biggest titles. So I don't think anybody could ever look at that and be upset about it or find it to be to try to want to hate on it for whatever. And it's a damn good game. I mean, I don't know how long I'll be talking today, but if it goes through this gameplay, have you seen of this Bleach Souls Rebirth? I always get the Rebirth of Souls. I think it's Souls Rebirth. This new fighter that just came out, because there was people that asked in the comments my last stream what game was this, and this just came out last week. It's a really fun fighter, and it has a story mode. I haven't got a chance to dive into the story mode because I was trying to learn the mechanics of this game, and yeah, it's really fun. So anyway, that's why I wanted to show this gameplay again. But yeah, there's some gameplay of me playing Shadows, and I will say this, like, you only have a little small part, or unless you can switch. I don't know. I haven't tried to switch yet, but in the very beginning, you play as Yasuke, and then you go right to Noori's storyline. And so her storyline is her gameplay loop. She's more of the traditional sneak around. You could try to fight, but it's best for you to sneak around because she's shinobi and stuff like that. And what it reminds me of is a classic game called Tenchu. Just the way that it has its Assassin's Creed flavor, of course, but it reminds me a lot the way the gameplay of how you play with that character. It just reminds me of Tenchu, and Tenchu is one of my favorite games of all time. I love Tenchu, so that's just a cool thing. And then of course you have kind of like the traditional old kind of brooding stuff. What it do, Stanley? What's happening with you, brother? What's happening? Thank you for y'all guys for coming through. So yeah, it has that Tenchu vibe to it. I've been playing mostly as her. I've been putting around 12 hours into it so far. Loving it. And so I don't know if you can automatically switch over to Yasuke, or do you probably have to get to some certain point to where you get to Yasuke, and then I'm pretty sure that you can kind of go back and forth. But I love the game. I knew I would. I mean, it was right up my wheelhouse right from the beginning, just like with South of Midnight. Like, I'm really, really, really stoked about that. So there's going to be some games that I was playing that I didn't get a chance to finish, that I'm going to have to go back and play them, like Indiana Jones. And I started Avowed, but because of all the PC stuff, like I explained all that type of stuff in my last stream Sunday, of all what's went on with my PC, and then me trying to transfer data, get my old music back and all that other stuff. So this kind of made me just kind of mess around and do other stuff. And I call myself playing Lost Odyssey, and doing my second playthrough for Lost Odyssey, and then beating that, and then learning a lot more stuff that I completely forgot, but then also realized how good it was, and how I did explain that it was one of the best JRPGs out there. So yeah, I wish that they would bring a remake of a remake of Lost Odyssey. I'm sure that they will never do a sequel, which I would love that. But hey, a remaster, no, a remake. I would want to see a remake to it, because there's a lot of controls that feels dated on the game, but still, golly, the storyline and all that is really good. But yeah, but no, with Shadows, it's, I really do enjoy it. I mean, I don't, some of these big open world games is not a lot of people's cup of tea, but it is good that the game is doing well, especially all the hate and divisiveness that people were trying to come in and say and do, and all that crazy mess. And trying to make it out to be something that is different. Like, this game was completely different than any other game that comes out, and trying to be all about it's supposed to be a realistic time setting piece without any elements of fiction or anything like that, and that's just not video games. There's very few video games that depict all just nonfiction, and it's all this, that, and the third. Like it's pretty crazy. It's a video game, guys. You can play it or you don't have to, but trying to make something bigger than what it was kind of stupid to me. But it's good to see that the game is doing well. It's second behind Monster Hunter's Wild, which that might be, we'll see how it goes. There's still a lot of games that's going to be coming out this year, but Monster Hunter Wilds might be the best-selling game of 2025. Unless Grand Theft Auto, which Grand Theft Auto is supposed to be coming out this year, Grand Theft Auto will be the best-selling game, but the Wilds will most likely probably be the second. I should say that. So anyway, so that's a really good look on that. Another thing that's pretty crazy to me, just kind of move on off of that. Just wanted to give a shout out to that to Ubisoft for making a good solid game. Is the Black Myth stuff. Like I wanted to touch on that so bad when I seen it last week when people were talking about it in the chat. And so like I was like, oh, look at this. So it seems like that Xbox and a lot of people that was making this claim are vindicated to some degree, right? It's about the whole situation with Wukong getting the assistance from Sony. They went into there, and we knew that there was the marketing rights or whatever, but the situation where it's I'm trying to get this out the way. Let's go here so I can read this. Can you get out the way? I wanted to read the article to you guys. Yeah, stuff in the way. That's probably what's going on. They don't want me to read it because it's over here telling the truth of what's happening. Hold on, let me try to move this up. That is a weird advertisement that just popped up there and it will not go away. Let's see. I don't care about anything from IKEA. Anyway, so pretty much I'll try to read a little bit of it right here. Let's see. Well, this is big old thing and it's blocking the whole screen. What in the world is that? Now, okay, there we go. Okay, just had to do some kind of tinkering. All right, so it says there's been extensive rumors and counter rumors about Sony having a time exclusivity deal with Game Science Black Myth Wukong for the PlayStation 5. The multi-million-dollar selling action RPG has yet to be released, which this was my game of 2024. My game of the year 2024. That game is that good. That's why I can't wait for Xbox gamers to get a chance to play it. But anyway, but it still hasn't been released on the Xbox, despite the ESRP rating. With the developer noting the challenges with the hardware, talking about a 10 gigabyte shared memory on the Series S. However, even if there isn't an exclusivity deal timed or otherwise, Sony is assisted with the title. Speaking to Phil Rosenberg and the global partner development and relations outlined the content ventures team and how there's nobody better in the world than Christian and Sean Benson, and finding hidden gems and nurturing upcoming companies that are probably off the radar for most of us. They get a ton of support from the third-party account management team and the partner development team, who are often the first points of contact. And it also says right here, it says they've been working with other games, early on, like Stray, which was timed exclusive. Also a game like Genshin Impact, which was a time exclusive. Black Myth Wukong, which is still not on Xbox. Stellar Blade, which is still not on Xbox. So they reported on all these games that's been there. And they've helped Sony with I mean, I'm sorry, Sony helped them with pretty much, you know, their marketing and things of that nature. So, and then they talked highly of the team, which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, if they helped them in any way capacity, of course they're going to give them praise. The question is that now all you have to do is just look at the evidence. I mean, the games that I just ran off, like in this article just pointed out, Genshin Impact, timed exclusive, Stray, timed exclusive, Stellar Blade, it's still not on Xbox. Remember, it was going to be a day one Xbox game or a multiplat, and Sony came in and helped them, as they said, and still there's no Stellar Blade on Xbox. And then you got the same situation with Black Myth Wukong. So again, when Xbox was saying, look, there wasn't an issue going on with the Series S like they claimed, and we can just go and look at the situation that happened with Baldur's Gate 3. There was talking about the same thing, and then all of a sudden, in 3 months, the game was already ready to go and on Series X and Series S. So they had it all patched up, they had it all fixed up. So to me, it's one of these things where if you got people that, I mean, of course, and normally, some of the people that I call stands in the PlayStation community, and those people are the ones that just constantly, Sony can never do no wrong, blah, 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 blah. They normally don't care. They kind of like will brag about it, but it's kind of weird because they are kind of pushing back and saying, no, this isn't what it is. It's the Series S. It's the Series S. It's the Series S. It's not the Series X, guys. I mean, I was just sitting here playing, I'm playing games on the Series S with my son not too long ago, and then like you know one of my homeboys came through, and so I got my Series S in the front room, and I'm over here, you know, showing off a couple of games, and I'm playing a couple of games, and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, there ain't no way, ain't no way. Now there may be some technical limits or something like that may take a little bit of time or something like that, but to keep on making the claim that the S is the problem, it almost seems like it is. And I'm not going to ever call a developer lazy, because I know that the work that they do, you know, of course, you know, when me and Don was doing Devin the Gamer, you know, and had that stuff going on about that, won't ever do that, because not just because of, you know, I know that the hard work that Don was doing and stuff like that, but I'm talking about just in the sense of developers that I've talked to over the years and knowing the work that they're putting in. And then of course you having to deal with the public, and then you got to deal with publishers, and you got this and that and the third, and then all these. So it's not like that these guys are lazy. There might be some hitches here or there, but that's where Microsoft can help. You know, Microsoft has been in a position to where they've kind of dropped the ball on some of the older games, like with Marvel vs. Capcom Collection. They fixed that. We got the second collection, Capcom Collection, that's going to be coming out. It's coming day one. So it's which is next month, which I can't wait to play the classics online. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But it's just, there could be hitches there and there with the S, but it not to the degree to where the game couldn't work. Listen, I'm looking at people who played Black Myth Wukong on really old PC hardware. That's way less powerful than the S. So I can't keep hearing these excuses about this game can't play this way, this game can't play that way. It was like, hell, I even made a point to show that you can play Ratchet and Clank on a regular old hard drive, not a SSD. And so again, it's, you know, it could be some issues. Not saying that it might not be a couple of issues here or there, but it always seems that if the Sony has the marketing rights to any of these games, for some reason there is something tied into it to where if Sony's doing some kind of backing, then these games is going to be delayed. It's just what it is. Now, Sony used to brag about it, but I think maybe because of situations that's going on here in the future, which I'll be talking about here, is probably going to be my main topic of talking about the future of console gaming, may not want to be as open about holding games back, especially when Xbox is doing what they're doing now with their game titles. But it's just, it's clear as day that Sony has something going on. And I mean, it's like with Callisto Protocol, they held things back, the stuff that they were doing with Call of Duty, even though that came out day one, but there was still content that was held back. You had the stuff with Marvel's oh man, what's it's canceled now, but the Marvels game when they had Spider-Man and they locked Spider-Man in as a character, and within that, like, Sony has been doing this stuff, so why would Sony not do this now, especially if they put some kind of time and money behind something? And that could be one of those stipulations, kind of like how Xbox has made it a stipulation to put games on Game Pass if they're going to do the marketing. So for the majority of those games, or maybe implement Play Anywhere or something like that. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't pass the smelling test to me. It doesn't. So I do believe that Sony is locked them down until maybe this DLC comes out maybe this summer. I thought that maybe that and I was wrong about that when I was on Web Daves, and I even said this on my thoughts a few months back when the Xbox Direct came out, that I thought that would be the game, that Wukong would be the game that they would present, and then lo and behold, it was Ninja Gaiden, which I'm so stoked about. But it's still the thing to, like, and shocked because I was not expecting that. I was thinking that it was going to be Wukong, but still, Wukong is not here. So their DLC is most likely coming here during the summer. Which yeah, so there it goes, and so I think after that, maybe by the end of the year, or maybe when it's the next Xbox Direct in 2026, that's when you probably might get it, or they might do the same thing like they did with 3 months after that or whatever. I don't know how long this deal that they have will keep the game away from Xbox, but it is clear as day. And I mean, look at the Final Fantasy games, blah, 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 blah. It is what it is. So yeah, I found that to be very interesting. I didn't like it at all, because it's a multi-plat, so why keep things locked up? But it is what it is. I mean, and it's the same thing with Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is going to be, it's got, I think, some more content finna come out. It's finna drop on PC. I'm finna pick it up when it drops in July, I believe. So yeah, it is what it is. So it's unfortunate for Xbox gamers because, like I said, it was my game of the year. It's a fantastic game. It can be grueling, but once you get to a certain level of understanding the game is so top notch. It's such a great game, such a fantastic game. So yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy itself. I don't know. It's just wild. All right, so I'm going to move on from that, and I'm going to get into this about this whole Steam thing because it's going to kind of get me into my topic about the future of gaming. Because I think that, like I've been saying for years, that we're all going to be a part of this whole change that's going on with consoles. The big three, like, I mean, Nintendo is still going to try to hold steadfast for as long as they can, because they have the clear path. Xbox has already made the move, the pivot to this whole universal, everybody wins type of thought. PlayStation's still trying to hold on to the old ways. But I think everything is going to change. Nintendo will be the last one, but Xbox and PlayStation is still going to do what Xbox has done. It's just like, again, PlayStation is not going to leave money off the table. And I don't want to hear the excuses every time, like they made the excuses that PlayStation didn't want to put games on PC because extra money is extra money. They've even came out and said that they made tons of money, even though maybe the sales don't look ideal to certain people. That's still extra. It's still extra money. So it is what it is. But yeah, okay. So what Dustin was saying here, basically talking about that Dustin thinks that Xbox will get PlayStation games via Steam. And listen, at first, when you hear it, you're like, no, PlayStation's going to pull something, right? But again, would they? I mean, let's just be honest here, right? Like, I mean, let's just keep it $1,000 here, right? Yeah, exclusivity is Sony's thing, but and we'll look and see what will happen with Death Stranding too, because that's locked down under PlayStation and for as an exclusive for the PlayStation 5. Found out that Ghosts will be Yaturi, I believe that's the last how you pronounce it, but Ghosts will be only on PlayStation. We'll see how those games will do. Though Death Stranding 2 will do better than what it did originally. Ghost should do very well, but will it do what it did on the PlayStation 4? And like I said before, the one thing that we have noticed that there's only really been 2 games from the PlayStation exclusive lineup that has kept up or done better, and that is God of War and that is Spider-Man. And I don't even, and you know what I'm saying, and I don't know if Spider-Man Spider-Man 2 is done as well as Spider-Man 2018, but it did well. It did very, very well. And God of War Ragnarok did phenomenal. So other than that, everything has been down. The Final Fantasy games is not done what they're supposed to. Astrobot, you know, people can brag. I mean, this used to be a thing where PlayStation gamers used to tout and brag and shit up on anything Xbox had that sold 1.5 million to 3 million. They thought they would laugh at that, scoff at that last generation. But now I guess it's all right. I don't know, but you know, hey, I mean, 1 million of anything is a lot of people. So regardless, Horizon didn't do as well. I mean, the list goes on of so many PlayStation games that just hasn't done the same type of numbers except for only 2. So Ghost should do very well. Death Stranding, it has to do well because it did not sell well at all. So much so that you had the developer, you had the developers in there talking about, well, you know, the West cares about guns and more than they do about storylines and blah 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 blah. And then next thing you know, he added them pew pews to that game. So again, so it's wild. The game didn't do very well in the first thing. And what was really wild with Death Stranding is that it was at that time it had the lowest it was the lowest rated game out of the games that was displayed for Game of the Year on the VGAs, and I believe that they moved or they shuffled to where the game could be the game could be nominated. So which was kind of crazy and odd or whatever, but all that, but still, it was still up for Game of the Year. And from people who's beaten it, they say it's a really good game. I mean, I got it. I mean, I actually. I was gonna go ahead and get the Xbox version of it, but then I was like, nah. I'm cool with the PC version. I'm all right. And I got the PlayStation version, so I did double dip. Coming to think about it, so that's why I was trying to think. I was like, I know I got it twice, but I played it on the PlayStation. But it's like, all right, there's some other stuff that I got, and I kept it moving, and then I got it on PC, got it, played a little bit further, but still haven't beat it. So I won't go say that the game is bad or anything like that. I just haven't beat it yet. So it's a beautiful game. Now, you know, it's a graphical masterpiece for sure. But it's, you know, but you have to be in the mood for a Kojima game. So and I just haven't been in the mood for a Kojima game right now. So but yeah, I'll probably get to it and play it at some point and beat it so I can be ready for the second game, because if I get it, I'm going to get it on the PC. I'm not getting it on the PlayStation 5. It is why from my standpoint, because my PC is much more it will give me the true definitive edition of it. So that's just my thought process on it. But anyway, so PlayStation is going to do their thing, but if Xbox wanted to make, so Xbox is now giving their games out and put them everywhere pretty much. If they do the time exclusivity thing, it doesn't seem as bad from my opinion. I know that, like, again, I'm not saying that I like the strategy, but the strategy is a strategy. And if you're an Xbox gamer, then you're an Xbox gamer. If you're not, you're not. But it is what it is. But why would Sony pass up on more money? Because if Xbox gamers has access to PlayStation games through a Steam app, then Sony is still getting their money. You know what I mean? So like, it's not like Sony's not going to get their bread. It's just that people want to play these games on the Xbox controller. They want to they want to enjoy it on the new Xbox and have that whole vibe of it. Just just be in that the space where everything is universal. Now, Sony could definitely push back in some way, shape, or form, and the one way that they can push back is not putting their games on PC, which that is not going to happen. Like I said, they're making too much money to do that. But what they can do is do what they have been doing, and that is waiting to put these games on Steam or Epic later. And if they don't have an Epic app, then there's no need to do it, right? So there's no need. The Steam app ain't gonna do anything for them. Nor is what I've been saying too. I said a few months back is that what PlayStation is trying to do, in my opinion, because they're trying to have people sign up on their, they're forcibly having people sign up on their to their PSN, is they're thinking about trying to start their own launcher. And if they have their own launcher, then PC gamers are very different. They want their games to be in the proper place and for them, and most likely that's going to be on Steam. And you got GOG and you got Epic, but most importantly, everybody wants their games to be on Steam. So I don't know how the PC community would react to that. There will be some people that, I already got a PSN, so I wouldn't go with the launcher. There's no problem with me. And like I said, I ain't tripping about it. That would be cool with me because I don't have to worry about getting another PlayStation. I could just play PlayStation games on my PC, and I'm cool with that. That's how I've been actually playing my PlayStation games here lately for the last, I would say, year and a half, is playing them on my PlayStation. On my PC, other than the PlayStation. So I'm cool with that either way. But for PC gamers, and then also losing out on maybe potential extra money by not having, if Xbox is putting this Steam app on there, why would Sony want to lose money? The exclusivity thing is basically is coming to the end, one way or the other. It's not going to be the same. Nintendo is still going to do what they do, but for PlayStation and Xbox, it's a wrap. It is a wrap. We're almost at the end of this, Jack. We're almost at the end of it. Seeing Forza being, and that's what cracks me up, is seeing the demand of Xbox games on PlayStation. That's all it is. They want to play Xbox games on their PlayStations with their PlayStation controllers. They don't want to buy another console. They don't want to do this. So Xbox is saying, look, we're going to be the first ones to innovate and do this. It's the Trojan horse effect, as I've been saying, and PlayStation is going to see how much money they're, especially when you look and you see a game that's as old as Forza Horizon 5, which is one of the best racers of all time. It's got to be in the top 5. If anybody who are fans of racers, it's definitely a top 5 racer of all time, no question. But you see, it's number 1. You see Indiana Jones, it's up there at the top. So a top seller. So it's just one of these things where Sea of Thieves, and so many people talk so bad about Sea of Thieves, and Sea of Thieves is kicking ass over there. Of course, Minecraft's doing its thing. Grounded is doing well. And when you got more and more of these Xbox games coming over, it's going to affect where people are spending their money, especially when we're looking at the climate of the economy. It's not looking like it's going to be going too well, especially with if these tariffs happen. We'll find out tomorrow. That will definitely affect gaming. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. The thing of it is that people will start picking and choosing where they want to spend their money, and people are going to be very selective. So if they look and they see that a PlayStation game like Soul of Arise, and then you look at, and I believe Soul of Arise comes out this month. I believe. I could be wrong. I know I'm looking for it. I know I'm finna get it, but I'm thinking it's coming out this month. I'm saying Soul Arise. Soul Aside. I'm sorry. Lost Soul Aside. Coming out this month, I believe. Well, then Forza's coming out this month. And if you got people, Lost Soul Aside should be at the top, right? But Forza's at the top pre-order list? Come on now. That's telling you right there, Xbox is already making a statement. And some people will say, well, they're the statement of that they're giving up. How are they giving up as long as they're still making consoles? See, that's the thing. Like, and so if PlayStation is going to continue to still make consoles, why not go across the board and get money from Xbox gamers who, I mean, if you want to count the console sales or whatever about, the 2-to-1, 3-to-1, whatever the one, that's still out of the 35, 40 million Xbox console owners. And then when you include the Xbox One, that's like 80 million, close to 80 million console owners. Why would you not want to have that money? Now, again, the Xbox One is not going to have the Steam app, and I don't think that they're going to have that app on the Series on the Series S or X. I think it's just only going to be on a new console. But again, it is already kind of proven that Xbox is going to at least have sell around 30 to 40 to 50 million consoles. So so that's still money, and most likely there's going to be a few of them that will buy a PlayStation as well. But I think the more the time moves on, and especially if they got that Steam app, there ain't going to be a lot of Xbox gamers that's going to be buying a PlayStation. They'll just wait. So that's losing more revenue. So I think that I think at the end of the day, I think that they'll do something. But I think that they will let it slide or let it go. And another thing too, I remember when I seen Dustin post that on Twitter X, and I did mean and I posted something saying like, then it would kind of make sense why Xbox is doing what they're doing. Now again, it would have benefited Xbox regardless of the administration, Trump or Harris, because of what the FTC was trying to do, go after Xbox, because PlayStation was saying, look, Xbox is trying to be a monopoly by keeping Call of Duty and not putting Call of Duty on PlayStation, blah, 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 and a third. If Xbox could roll to change the narrative, if Harris administration was still there and they still kept the same people from the FTC to say, look, we're putting games on PlayStation. PlayStation is keeping games away from us, so they could change that tide and they could look more favorably. Now again, that the FTC under Biden's administration was very, very anti big business. So that's this. But now in the Trump administration, they're very big business. So again, and they're on this America first type of situation. So again, and Microsoft is an American company, so the FTC would be like, hey, do what you want to. Yeah, fine, whatever. Now, of course, it'll be up to a judge. But I mean, if you got Xbox that's putting these games on other platforms, Nintendo and PlayStation, PC, and then most likely we'll probably start putting games on cell phones and things like that. Then there's really no excuse to sit there and for PlayStation to still complain and say, look, they're trying to be a monopoly. They're trying to take our games and they're trying to do this. Well, you're keeping your games tight-knit. Why don't you do the same thing that Microsoft is doing? Make gaming even a bigger and more open platform. That's my thought opinion. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. Like, I really do feel that that's the strategy of where Xbox is trying to go with this. Is like, look, we made this decision. We're going to go with this. What the exclusivity of Xbox will be is our features, Play Anywhere, Game Pass, and like I said, the features that's going to be in the new console. And then if you add Steam and pretty much being a console hybrid PC, it's a win. It's a win. It is an absolute win. Now, will that get PC gamers to fork over money to get a console? No, it's not. But that's not the point. There's always as long as there's consoles, there's always going to be console buyers. And if they're sour on the Xbox Series consoles or the Xbox consoles for whatever reason, maybe because of bad advertising, for the most part, and mixed messaging, then you will still have that 30 to 50, let's just put it like that, 30 to 50 million Xbox buyers of that of the console, and they'll be all in on wanting to go ahead and play their games off of Steam and play their games off of the Xbox, and they'll be buying PlayStation games. I mean, it's just it would be smart of PlayStation to let it happen. But again, I think that if PlayStation wants to go ahead and be petty, which Sony was about that life, being petty, they will go ahead and make a launcher and put more games on the Epic Store. But that again will hurt them in the long run by being petty, in my opinion, because Steam gamers want their games to be on Steam. You know, they don't, oh, and I forget about the EA store, and then you got Ubisoft or whatever. But yeah, no, they want their games to be on Steam. That's where they have their biggest library of games is on Steam. They don't like the way, and there's a lot of PC gamers who don't want to have a PSN account to play PlayStation games. And so, you know, it's one of those things that where Sony can shoot themselves in the foot again by trying to handle themselves. And I know that there'll be defenders of it as like the exclusivity matters and things like this matter. Okay. That you would say that will be true, but we'll see what's coming up with Death Stranding and with Ghost. Like I said, Ghost should do very well. Death Stranding 2 should do better than what it did, which I think it should, but is it gonna break the bank? Are people gonna go and buy it in droves like they used to with the PlayStation 4 games? They haven't. So I don't know, man. And if Xbox keeps pouring in their games around the same time that these other games are coming out, and people are having more interest into these Xbox games, more so than some, you know, the big hitters from Sony, maybe not so much. But for any other the smaller titles that Sony has been probably marketing for, some third-party games or some second-party games that got some exclusivity or whatever, then they're losing money because Xbox is going to be getting that money. And then I don't know. I just think that Sony would be ridiculous to not do that, and that's why I'm bringing up my point about the future of console gaming in its own right. Like I do feel like this is probably going to be next to the last consoles that we see. I think after I give one more generation after this new generation of consoles for both, and then it's done. I just don't see that the pathway of consoles still being viable, especially when gamers keep asking for these consoles to be more expensive. I mean, they want more bells and whistles on these consoles, and the more that they see these, you know, 40 series cards, these AMD cards, these the 50 series cards is still kind of, you know, I'm kind of glad that I didn't jump on the bandwagon and give me a 50s card. Let that cook for a little bit. Might go ahead and just wait until the 60s, the 60 version. But if these consoles are going to try to keep up, I mean, you already see what's going on with the PlayStation 5 Pro. You know, you got it's for the price that they're asking for the stuff that it delivers is just not good. It's not worth the price. Now, if that's $500, then yeah, that would be worth the price. But you're asking $700 for older hardware, and you're using a new the new AI scaling or whatever that thing is called, the PPR or whatever the hell it's called. That's great and that's good, but it's not helping all the games. Now I know it did really good for Assassin's Creed Shadows, but it's not. But I just seen something just not too long ago where they were talking about another game that just recently came out, and it's horrible. So yeah, it's just not worth the price. And so if you're looking at new consoles, no telling how much this new Xbox is going to be. We're going to be talking. It's going to be $700. Sony has broke it's broke the seal now. Like it's all open now, right? You know what I mean? Like Sony has already made a decision to go ahead and break that $600 threshold, which was usually I felt like the high standard price to where most consoles should never go. Sony broke that with the 700 plus console. So Xbox is going to follow suit with that. Like, you know, hey, go ahead. And especially if it is going to be more powerful than the Series X, so it's going to be more expensive. So we'll be looking at 700 plus for Xbox. The new PlayStation is going to be 700 plus, if not more. So Nintendo is going to be smart, but then yet we I read a rumor that that some developers is not getting any 4K. These games that they're developing for them are not 4K. So we don't know if the device is going to be pushing 4K graphics or not. We'll find more out tomorrow, I'm sure. But and that's what I'm saying. Nintendo can stay in their lane, but PlayStation and Xbox can't. So it's just what it is. Xbox is just going to have to innovate, and PlayStation is going to see where things is going, and then they're going to follow suit. It's just the way it has been and the way it's going to be. Like, the only thing that PlayStation has been doing consistently is holding on to that exclusivity thing for a certain, for somewhat. That's going to end, because if you got consoles, like I said, new consoles that's going to be dropping, and they're going to be 700 plus, there ain't going to be too many people that's going to double dip. They're going to make a decision on what they want, and then they're going to get that ideal console. And if Xbox is doing something of that nature, of where they're having Steam available as an app to where you could play Steam games on that console, that's going to get a lot of people's attention. That's going to get a lot of people's attention, in my opinion. I mean, PlayStation will still do well, but again, the consoles keep going. They're not catching their previous iterations. They're not, what I'm saying? The PlayStation 5 is, they say these things, all this on this clip, to where they're eclipsing. It's not going to sell as much as the PlayStation 4. Who are we kidding? It's not. So so again, people can say whatever they want, but it's not. And until I see differently, and I'm, like I said, if I'm wrong, then I'll admit that I'm wrong. But it ain't gonna catch no PlayStation 4 in overall sales. So it's just the way it is, and it damn sure ain't gonna catch the PlayStation 2 in overall sales. So it's just one of these things where I think the way that gaming is that the best approach is the approach of letting gamers just kind of get games the way. And like I said, do I like what Xbox is doing personally? No, I don't. I understand it, but it's not. But times has changed. People, the generations before, or I should say after us, if you're a Gen Xer, then the millennials and Gen Z, Gen A, Gen Alpha, whatever, they're on the go playing games. They don't sit and do it. Hell, you got these Gen Alpha kids don't even like PCs. So they want to be on the go when they playing games. Now, people playing games more than ever, but people want to play games. These kids today, these younger adults and these young kids, they want to be on the go. And so thinking about how the console is going to still be relevant by the time that Gen X is going to be in another decade, and then you looking at millennials is going to be older by a decade, and then listen, the demographic is going to completely change. It's already changing right before our eyes. So I just want people to be aware of it. So like when you still got these whole things talking about the console war and how these sales, it don't no more. It's over. I mean, it's. That's why they're going about talking about players. Subscriptions is going to be very, very vital, especially if this economy is going to go crazy. I sit there and I got Assassin's Creed on Ubisoft on the Ubisoft account, and because I had some other bills that I needed to pay. So like, well, finish my mom's headstone. And there was some other. My wife got a new car, And so, and I'm saying I had to do some maintenance on my truck. So I'm like, that's the other thing. I'm like, listen, I'm still going to get the statue. I'm still going to buy the game. But it's like, hey, look, these other things is way more important. These are real life things. These are things that I got. And this is the reason why I got the subscription. And so when I look at the subscription, I'm seeing a whole bunch of people on Ubisoft subscription while the game is still selling well, which is also bringing more money to Ubisoft as well. Like I said, the subscription thing is important, very important going forward, because it's so many games coming out. So many games coming out. The way that Xbox is having this first half of the year is nutty. Like there's multiple games that's dropping on Game Pass, and just think of if there was no Game Pass. So you know what I'm saying, a game like South of Midnight for me would definitely be picked up, right? But then like we're looking at what am I going to make a decision on when it comes to if there was no Game Pass. What decision would I make when Shadows dropped and South by Midnight is right around the corner. The Tekken Season 2 just dropped today. Matter of fact, I can't wait to play a little bit tonight. Then you got the Bleach, and I'm a big fan of fighters. You got Atomic Fall for anybody that was interested in that. You had some other titles that dropped. Matter of fact, the Kazan, I think that's how you say that, the Souls-like game that dropped, that came out too. Like, you got all these games that's come out here in the last month, and you got a Valve that came through not too long ago, and all the people are going to have to make decisions on which one that they have to sacrifice, and then which one that they have to pick up later. It's just one of these things where it's like, and especially like with what I was saying, like with like games like Tekken, games like Street Fighter, that I'm a fan of fighters, Call of Duty. I know there's a lot of people that's a fan of Call of Duty, and if they want to get the Black Sale edition of that, that's all extra money going somewhere. And if you don't have a subscription, subscriptions never were available, it would be too overwhelming for most people. I mean, hell, you know what I'm saying? Even if I could afford that, you know what I'm saying? And even if I wanted to afford that, I still wouldn't do all that, because that's a lot of money going into a whole bunch of games when I could be prioritizing and doing other things with it. So, and so like, it's that's the thing right there where I'm talking about how important subscription is and how Xbox is going to be fine. Game Pass is definitely going to thrive, especially now where Xbox is pumping in games. Games are, it's almost overwhelming, but I like the overwhelming. Keep bringing it. That's what we want to see. This is the reason why I'm going to continue to keep the service. Is because of the content. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be all fire all the time. It could be average. It could be not that great. It could be fantastic. That's what you want to get to play games. That's what you want in gaming, is to get back to the way that it was beforehand, when you fell in love with those games that weren't like big, huge AAA, every movie like, simulation games. You got something that could be just a cult classic. You got something that could be just an average, maybe a smaller indie type of title that could be really dope. And then you got, again, your big budget titles included in that. That's why these subscriptions I think is so vital and so important. So, let me know what you think about in the comment section about that as well. So, yeah, I just think that it's pretty crazy to me that PlayStation wouldn't do that. I wouldn't allow it. But like I said, PlayStation's petty, so they could probably try to do something. I don't know if they would go as far as going to court. What they would try to do, I think, really is just wait to put games on PC maybe even longer, or just start their own launcher. And like I said, that's still in the long run, I think, hurt Sony, because PC gamers they're fickle like that. And Xbox gamers, yeah, you might have some Xbox gamers that will go ahead and still pick up a PlayStation. But like I said, you got to think about the prices of these new consoles. So, and I don't know if PlayStation, well, I think PlayStation will still have games to be played on the PlayStation 5. So you still have a lot of gamers who have that play on Xbox mostly, but still have a PlayStation 5, and then those games. But you know, we never know. We don't know what Sony's going to do. So you know, they might only allow to where you can play only certain games on the PlayStation Pro, PlayStation 5 Pro, and the PlayStation 6. But you might not can play those games on the regular PlayStation 5. Who knows? Who knows? Or PlayStation could be smart and see if they can add that PSSR technology to the PlayStation 5 and prolong the fan base that want to wait to see for maybe a price drop, or maybe just want to wait to see the climate of how many games and what games look like and how they perform and things on the new PlayStation. So forth, and so forth. And the same with Xbox. Like, so if Xbox is, you know, you might not have that Steam, and Xbox, you know, Xbox is talking about wanting to be about kind of doing the thing that what PC is where you can play all types of older games, things like that. You know, they haven't been on that kick here in a little while with any backwards compatibility games, but which they need to get back onto that. They still got a whole treasure trove of stuff from Activision that they need to try to implement, but maybe they're trying to figure out how to scheme this to work well. And maybe they can add that Steam app onto the Series X and S. So that would be smart, but we'll see how this all plays out. But I just think that the days of exclusivity, the way we've known it, and I've said this before, and I'm saying it just again, but to remind you, it's about done. It's over. The console war is dead. We can sit there and talk about, you know, the difference of what we like better about Xbox over PlayStation, vice versa, or Nintendo. You like Nintendo better than everything, but regardless of whatever, the console war itself of, you know, sales and this and that, it's over. It's over. It is done. We're looking at ecosystems. We're looking at subscription services. We're looking at other things other than, you know, the sales of a console. So anyway, guys, I really do appreciate it. Wanted to test out everything. Like I said, we'll be done here hopefully tomorrow. It looked like that it finished scanning everything, all the data that it could scan, and hopefully, because the old dude said that he was because he had to do a whole nother new program. So, because this hard drive is busted, Jack. This hard drive is just busted. so I'll get what I want. I might not can get all, you know, 1 terabyte of music. I'm probably going to have to miss out. But like I said, I got a backup plan just in case. I do have another hard drive, an old hard drive, what I change stuff over, but that's broke. So so eventually I would have to take it somewhere to get that fixed. So we'll see what I get or whatever, and hopefully we'll be done with it, and I don't have to worry about the stream like I have been. So it's been working pretty good, but this is a different type of application that this tech guy used, so I could start trusting the stream. And you said you had to check in. What's up? What's up with you, Jax? It was a good deal. Good deal. Appreciate you guys coming through. Thank you guys from Twitter checking me out. You know what I'm saying? The people on on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? And also on Twitch. Appreciate it. Like I said, when I'm definitely going to be doing Fight Night this coming up Sunday. I might try to do a Fight Night earlier. We'll see. But we're definitely doing it Sunday. And that'll make my TikTok debut. So, you know, I want to sit there and try to test out some of the stuff that's going on with Tekken, show the Bleach game, and then, you know, start getting back into my fighters, man. I really haven't been playing anything fighter-wise except for the Bleach game. And like I said, I've been playing other stuff in between. Mostly my time has been going on Lost Odyssey, the second playthrough. And since I beat that now, you know, now it's going to be just on Shadows and then what's coming on from South of Midnight and, you know, and then my fighters. So I can get back into the thing with that. So anyway, thank you guys for coming through. Really do appreciate it. Again, if you're new to the channel, man, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. I do want to hear your comments. I know that there was a lot of people. I know there was quite a few people that was listening from Twitter X, and do appreciate it. So yeah, come and let me know in the chat, in the comment section on YouTube, so I could hear what you got to say, and you know what I'm saying, maybe I'll definitely give some feedback as well. You know, what you agree with me, what you disagreed, stuff like that. So thank you guys so much, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace until tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. Well, I think the Nintendo Direct will be tomorrow, so we'll talk a little bit about what Nintendo is doing, and if it's worth it. I think just because of the fact that you can play Switch 1 games, it's already worth it in my and from me. I kind of knew that they may not have games that's going to be in 4K. I think they might have a game, you know, some of their bigger titles that could be, you know, up-res to 4K maybe. I don't know. But if it's only $400, then yeah, it was going to be a 1440p machine. In my, you know, that's what I was thinking. So we'll know. We'll find out. So holler at you guys tomorrow, same time. Check it out. Peace.